Today, Ubiquiti just announced something that I think is going to turn a lot of heads in the network engineering world. And that is the UDM Beast. Now, this thing has a lot to offer, and Ubiquiti was gracious enough to send us over a couple of these units so we can go ahead and do a review, an unboxing, test this thing, give our initial thoughts, and go ahead and show you guys exactly what this new product is and how it stacks up against the other Dream Machine lineup. So go ahead, you're not going to want to miss this video. Let's get into it. But before we get into the video, if you guys have a networking project that you guys would like assistance on, whether it's a new build, configuration, design, consulting, go ahead and check the link out in the description for some of the services we provide, not only just with all of the Ubiquiti equipment, but just network engineering in general. Go ahead and make sure to check the link in the description for more about our services. And also, if you guys would like any of this cool merchandise, go ahead and check out Network.Store. The link for that will also be in the description. We're going to be releasing cool new networking merchandise over the next little bit here, so go ahead and definitely make sure to check that out. Now let's get back into the video. Initial first impressions, it pretty much just looks like a UDM with, a bunch of extra ports and 2 drive bays, and honestly it is, right? The form factor is nothing super crazy, nothing bigger than what a Dream Machine normally would be, just a whole bunch more packed into it. So as you'll see, turning around, we do have 5 nice fans on the back. This thing will have no problem staying cool. There is the, unfortunately, it is a regular power plug. It's not the enterprise class, cloud or gateways, but as to be expected, right? It's not in that league, so can't be upset that there is no removable power supply. It's the Dream Machine lineup, so, but there is this guy right here, and that is a console port, which we will talk about in a little bit. That has me very excited for the future of what is going to be implemented across, some of these lines. So very exciting overall unboxing, extremely standard. You just get, your classic Ubiquiti stuff that comes with it. Nothing crazy. So let's talk about what's actually under the hood, because Ubiquiti swung for the fences on this one. So starting with the processor, the Beast is running an 8-core ARM v9 at 2.1 gigahertz, and Ubiquiti is specifically calling out this N2 architecture because it's used by things like hyperscalers or high throughput switching. So it's not just marketing, this chip is actually purpose built for high throughput network workloads, and the performance numbers on paper absolutely back that up. Pair that with 16 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs built-in SSD, and you're definitely in a completely different performance class than anything else in the current Dream Machine lineup. Now the port layout. This is where the Beast really starts to separate itself. You have the 2 1 gig RJ45s, you have 8 10 gig RJ45s, which are full multi-gig capable, you have the 2 10 gig SFP pluses, and then you have the 2 25 gig SFP 28s with native 25 gig connectivity, and you have that 1 console port. So, and I want to flag this clearly, there's no PoE budget, it appears, on the Beast, so this is a gateway, definitely not a switch, so plan your stack accordingly. Again, if you're running this kind of, console or even 2 of these in HA, you probably have the rest of the stack kind of figured out, so, just, you're going to want a dedicated PoE switch downstream of this. And on the storage, you get the dual 3.5-inch NVR hard drives, just like the Pro Max, built right in. Plus, you get the 128 gig onboard SSD. This kind of helps for speeding some things up, so you're not constantly pulling from those very large drives. Kind of does their magic and just makes it faster. So that's a really nice added benefit. And if you're running Unified Protected Scale, you can just drop the drives right into this unit. You don't need any separate NVR or appliance or anything. So super nice. And the number that stops everyone in their tracks on this unit, I think personally, is the 25 gigabits per second of IDS IPS throughput. You get deep packet inspection, IPS at full line rate, no throughput penalty. And anyone running these, compliance heavy workloads or environments like healthcare, finance, education, that's a massive deal to keep 1-to-1 line throughput with doing all the IDS and IPS. On the camera and the client side, you can run up to 100 HD cameras, up to 62K cameras, or 44K cameras. And some of you are familiar with this number, but you get 5,000 plus simultaneous connected users. That's identical to the EFG. and you get 750 plus managed UniFi devices. These are enterprise and campus grade numbers. These are not small, medium business. This thing is a beast. And the full UniFi application stack runs locally, right? Just like everything else in the lineup, you can run network, protect, access, talk, connect, and you get up to 8 WANs on this, just like the other ones in the lineup. Pro Max still get this. But this one is the first model that actually has the front port density to kind of make use of that and still have ports left over. You still get the full VPN suite on this thing like you guys are used to. You get the WireGuard, OpenVPN. All the features have exact parallel to everything below it. And you also still get the shadow mode, high availability, VRRP. So full gateway and management failover to secondary unit. If your primary one goes down, great that they have that added support for this model as well. Love to see all these features. Let's put the numbers side by side and see how the Beast stacks up against the rest of the Dream Machine lineup. So bear with us, this is something we're kind of generating on these graphics, so, hopefully they're all right. To the research we've done, we're trying to assemble these to make it a little bit easier to consume sort of the comparisons. It's also closely related to the comparison tool that you guys probably see on Ubiquiti's website. And feel free to go on Ubiquiti's website and actually compare these models. It's really cool. You just go select the ones that you want, tap the compare button, and you get exactly, the same statistics we're going to be showing you. But the biggest thing is the price differences between these generations. So the Pro is $379, the Pro Max is $599, and the Beast comes in at $1499. So a little bit of a heftier price tag on this machine. But as you can see, accordingly, the IDS IPS throughput is generationally stacked. Way bigger. We're up to 5,000 clients now before the previous generation of just 2,000. Effectively doubling our camera counts, if not a little bit more, and over doubling the amount of UniFi managed devices we can have. I mean, this thing truly is a beast. So our port layout is also different. We have way more ports, double the amount of RAM, an insane new processor, and we still get those nice dual redundant hard drive bays. So generationally, this thing is more than, effectively double as good as the Pro Max, right? As far as the specs that we're getting and the generational improvement we're getting, we've well 2x'd the sort of previous generation as far as the specs go on paper. So now let's take a look at what the generational jumps actually look like in percentage terms, kind of using the UDM Pro as our baseline. So the IDS IPS throughput on the Pro baseline was at 3.5 gigs. Going to the Pro Max, that's a 43% increase at 5 gigs. And at the Beast, it's a 400% increase at 25 gigabits per second IDS IPS throughput at line rate. Again, same thing with the clients. We're at 5,000. It's over 150% generational improvement. I mean, these numbers are just awesome, right? We're seeing 100% camera capacity, RAM's up 100%, processor speed is marginally better as far as it's also a new architecture and a different generation. So there's that to consider as well. And the price has gone up about 150%. So big drum roll is, what's our price to performance ratio? And does this actually put us in a net positive? Is it more worth to buy the Pro Max because the value ratio is different? Is it more worth to buy the Beast because the Beast is a better buy? Well, that's kind of going to be up to you guys to determine as far as your needs go, but as far as the raw percentage goes, the Pro Max versus the Pro is an average spec improvement of 78% and an average price increase of 58%, leaving us a more than 20% performance per cost. So that's putting us in a positive. Now the big drum roll is, what is the Beast compared to the previous generation on the Pro Max? Are we still net positive, or do we actually run in the red? I'm happy to announce we're actually more than 22% of the price per cost as far as the overhead goes. We had an average spec improvement across the board of 172%, while the price increase was only 150%. So that put us in a 22% overhead as far as how much the price increase was to how much the actual spec increase was. So, and we kind of see this, sort of across the, Dream Machine sort of lineup, is around this 20% over generational improvement to the cost to performance ratio. So the Beast versus the Pro Max is by far, of course, the most dramatic as far as the numbers go. That 400% increase in IDS IPS is absolutely insane. So, and the processor itself is definitely worth calling out alone separately. I mean, the jump from the Pro to the Pro Max is the same architecture with, a modest clock bump and whatnot. The Beast is just an entirely different architecture with that ARM v9. It's not incremental, it's just a full architectural design change. So again, going into this, if you're looking for some sort of recommendation today, unfortunately I can't tell you exactly which one you need, but watching this video, if your needs are in that EFG, UXG sort of area, but you're kind of like, well, maybe it's not fully there, but I would like to kind of run Protect and Talk as well and just kind of let it all be under one thing. I mean, this is the perfect product for you to pick in that kind of spec range. So let's be real about who this is actually for. If you're running a home lab or a small office, the UDM Pro is a great play. At $379, you'll never come close to its limits, just don't overspend. If you're going past 100 devices, running cameras, need more IDS IPS, the Pro Max at $599 is a strong value, and it's where most of the mid-market and MSP deployments are going to be at. But if you're running a school, a hospital, a large enterprise, anything that deems this network to be critical infrastructure, the Beast is not overkill. It's properly sized, 5,000 concurrent clients, 25 gigabits per second full line rate, over 750, managed devices on a license-free platform. I mean, this thing kind of ticks all the boxes, right? So it is definitely not oversized for a large deployment. It is perfect. And at $14.99, when you compare it to building out the equivalent capability on the Ubiquiti website with, run a separate appliance, separate, cloud gateway, NVR, it kind of just adds up anyways to, the Beast just looks like a smart consolidation play, honestly. And that's a pretty compelling argument alone for kind of its value and where it fits in the lineup. My one caveat will be, and we're going to do this properly in a follow-up video where we're going to actually do some real-world performance testing with this guy, take it out to a crowded environment, see if we can actually deploy this thing. We're going to be using it in one of our latest products we're actually building internally. So you guys will get to see that video, hopefully debut relatively soon. But that will actually be taking this thing and putting it in a ruggedized case and actually doing things like, can we do an emergency response scenario, disaster recovery with it, So we have a lot of cool things planned now with this capability and what we have as far as our port availability and really some problems that this thing comes along and actually solves. So super excited for that video to debut. Stay tuned. But one kind of closing thought and sort of the big question mark about everything that this release has me wondering about from a network engineer's perspective is, what the heck does the console port do? And my initial thoughts on it is Ubiquiti's probably going to release some very basic commands that can do light troubleshooting, getting into it, doing some basic things here and there. They probably won't end up exposing the entirety of the command line based on sort of the architecture they have built around it. I would love to see in the future this console port be expounded upon and actually allow true configuration through it and really let us network engineers, who want to kind of mess with that stuff, really mess with it. I get it. Ubiquiti is always going to be sort of a GUI first interface, and I totally understand that play, but I'd like to have the option for both. And this lineup gives me real hope. This gives me hope that Ubiquiti is really turning a new leaf. I mean, great hardware, new generation, great architecture, awesome front plate port availability. We're really kind of getting places now with some of their, releases like this. I'm really excited and I'm super impressive on, what they've built on this release, and I'm very excited to see what comes forward. So that's a wrap. That's the Dream Machine Beast, available now from Ubiquiti. You guys can go ahead and check it out in the link in the description. It is an affiliate link, so it helps us out a little bit, and really appreciate you guys using that. But I want to hear from you guys down in the comments. Are you guys running a UDM Pro or a Max right now? Is it something you guys would actually consider switching to your environment? Does the price take it out of the conversation? I want to hear everything in the comments below. I feel like this is a generational difference, right? This isn't a one-up or an upgrade. This is a complete re-architecture of this product. So I'm really curious your guys' thoughts and opinions. Do you think the direction is good, where they're going with it? I'm genuinely excited and curious, so I want to see where you guys are at. And if you found this video useful, make sure you guys hit the like button. It really helps us out more than you know, and really appreciate you guys watching this and all the feedback you give us. So stay curious, stay sharp. See you guys in the next one.